Hi, everybody. Ty Bordoni here, primary mediation trainer, as well as a full-time professional mediator, and as well as the director of the Mediation Center, Central Florida, and an adjunct professor of law teaching mediation at the FAMU School of Law here in Orlando. And ADR Masterclass, excuse me, ADR Expo just had a great webinar last Friday, which was the ADR Expo, and it was the DFS Mediators Toolbox, right? And it was great. We had a really great number of attendees, great enthusiasm, great questions, and I had somebody follow up with an email to me with what I know are questions that other mediators are going to have. I know they were questions that I had when I was a mediator. And so I thought, this is going to be actually a great post rather than just an email. Others can probably really benefit from this. So I thought, let me read it, to everybody and answer the question in a social media post. So clearly, this is a newer DFS mediator, and says, I wasn't sure if I should prepare an invoice in my own system or if one is prepared in the DFS manager for me to click and send when mediation is completed. So yes, the DFS will create the invoices for you and will send them out. When we're done with a mediation, what we're going to do is you're going to go to the mediation manager website, and you're going to click on case, and you're going to create your mediation disposition form, right? You're going to report what the outcome was. It was an impasse. Someone didn't show. It was a settlement, and you're going to indicate what that settlement was. And then you're going to submit it. And as soon as you submit it, you'll get an email back from DFS with a PDF copy of that mediation disposition form. I will then forward that disposition form it's kind of like our mediators report, and I'll forward it to the parties, right? So I've let the Department of Financial Services know what the outcome was. I created my mediation disposition form. I submitted it. They sent me a copy. I sent that copy to the parties. But in the meantime, DFS is now sending out an invoice, typically to the insurance carrier. The insurance carrier pays the first mediation. There's another mediation, assuming the circumstances are proper. It's typically going to be paid by the insured. But that first one, and most of them, it's just one mediation that we do. It's paid by the insurance carrier. DFS is going to send out that invoice for the mediator based upon that DFS mediation disposition form you send out. Okay. Now, I will keep it for my records. And then when they do send them out, the invoices, they will also copy the mediator. I keep those as well. And in another post, I can talk about what I do if it's been a while and I haven't gotten paid for a certain mediation. But that's why I keep a copy of the invoices when they send them. And they send two invoices, by the way, right? If you mediate a case, it's $300 that the mediator gets paid. $50 is the administrative fee that DFS gets. So, or if you schedule a mediation appropriately, but no one shows up, or excuse me, not no one shows up, but rather the case is settled before the mediation takes place, and that does happen in a smaller percentage of cases. The fee is $150 if that happens, right, for the mediator. But in both cases, there's a $50 administrative fee. So when that invoice goes out, there's two invoices, one for DFS and 50 in the form of $50, and the other is either $150 or $300. And so you don't have to do it yourself. DFS is going to do it for you. Okay. And then moving on this was a really nicely, detailed, question. When you get a new assignment, you schedule it with a date immediately without asking the parties to agree on one. Asking the parties to agree on a date when there is an attorney involved is challenging. Let me stop there. So yes, I do that. I will automatically schedule mediation based on my availability. Now, with that said, Why do I do that? I do that for a few reasons. One, the statutes that control DFS mediations do allow for that. However, um, I think we have to be flexible. But what I start off doing it that way for several reasons. One, in a smaller percentage of cases, 15, 20% ish, the parties will all agree. But the majority of cases, they don't. Somebody typically has some kind of issue. They can't make it on that day. So in my email, I'll let them know that I am flexible. And if this date needs to be, rescheduled, I'm happy to do so. And then if somebody can't make it, then I'll send out an additional email. And that email will have other dates. And I'm going to bend over backwards for the parties. I'm going to do my best to accommodate everybody. Yes, attorneys' offices can be challenging. But I would tell you it's case by case. It's not just attorneys. Public adjusters' offices can be challenging. Insureds can be challenging. Different parties go about this a different way, and some are busier than others. And you have to stay on top of them. But I would tell you, when I schedule automatically, I'm being the guardian of the process, that I'm going to be flexible. But typically, what I'm also doing is, this may happen a few times. You may have to reschedule mediation 2-3 times. I will do it 3 times. And once I've done it 3 times, then I'm going to go back to being the guardian and back to what the rules allow. And that is for it to be scheduled automatically by the mediator, because sometimes the mediator does need to do that. Now it's case by case, but the rules do allow you to do it. And from time to time, when you have these troublesome parties, and it could be an attorney, it could be the insurance carrier, it could be the insured. Sometimes we have to be the guardian. We have to lay the rules down. And so I'm going to be flexible, but once I've done it 3 times, and we're probably past the 21 days that we're supposed to get it done, then I'm going to be the guardian, and I'm going to let them know, listen, I've rescheduled 3 times. Respectfully, as per this statute, a mediation will be scheduled on this date. But typically, you don't have to do that. Typically, you are going to be able to get it scheduled, usually, right? Additionally, I'm facing challenges with one insurance carrier ignoring my emails to schedule mediation and a phone call. I know what you mean. I know that stinks. Like a challenging attorney's office, sometimes we get ignored a little bit. Now, we don't know why. Let's not assume that they're doing it on purpose. They may be overwhelmed. They may have a lot going on. Everyone is not as good an administrator as everyone else is. And typically, when you see certain firms or names, PAs and insurance adjusters, you're gonna, recognize, oh wow, I love the way they do things. I'm not, so happy with the way this one does things. It is what it is. It comes with the territory. Stay on top of them, right? As soon as we get a case assigned, we need to schedule it and reach out to the parties. We need to send out reminders, right? We need to send out the Zoom links. And so we need to stay on top of the parties. And when they're not responding, don't let days go by. Call them, email repeatedly. And typically the initial email given to us for the insurance carrier is more like a scheduling coordinator. And then they send it out. So, reach out to them if you need to, if you're having a hard time reaching out to the individual who they've coordinated it for. Or I have sometimes even reached out to other insurance adjusters for that same carrier who I've worked with in the past. You have to get creative sometimes, but the point is stay on top of them, give them a call, leave messages, and follow up. Typically that will get it done. And no, yes, it's going to happen. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen sometimes. Again, another reason why I will schedule it automatically. I know you or someone mentioned certified mail. I don't necessarily use certified mail all the time. I do use it from time to time. Typically, the places I have used certified mail is either if I've gotten no response from somebody, and or I have no email address for someone for some reason. Doesn't happen a lot. Your email will serve to properly, schedule and serve notice on individuals. But from time to time, I will use certified mail. You'll know when you have to use certified mail. Um, I went ahead and so she says, I know you're someone mentioned certified mail. I think this is a habit with this insurance carrier, as I have a few with this carrier and they seem to be ignoring all of them. But it's only been, 3 or 4 days. Again, so from time to time, it's going to happen. And you will see it with some individuals, more than others. It's not everybody, though. I went ahead and just scheduled it based on the insured and their attorney's availability, but wanted to know if I am just wasting my time scheduling it this way. What would you do? I would do it this way, and then see what they say. And there's a great possibility that when they finally get around to it, they're going to be like, I can't do that. And it's going to become something that it is. What can you do? It is what it is. Stay on top of them. Now be flexible again, right, with them and get it scheduled. But how far does that flexibility go? That's why I will do it 3 times. I will set it. And then in my email, I will say, hey, I'm flexible. If you need dates, let us know. And then I'll work with everyone. And then sometimes they will schedule and then someone needs to reschedule it. Great. And then we can do it one more time. But once it's at 3, we're probably past those 21 days. I'm then going to be the guardian and I'm going to let everyone know, listen, I'm sorry. As per the statute, mediation will take place on this day. Be flexible, work with everybody. It's going to, for the most part, it's going to work well. You are going to have some agita from time to time, my friends. I'm sorry. It's the nature of the beast. Another is on another DFS mediation trying to schedule. The attorney was being difficult, unable to find an available date until September, and the must hold date was July 11th, 2025. Yeah, no, sorry. We can't do that, right? The rules say that we have to have it done within 21 days unless there's good cause or the parties agree to, otherwise. That's too far out. And that's more like, the kinds of issues you see when these are post DFS, that is, they're litigating, mediations, the insurance mediations. And then we kind of see that gameplay sometimes happen. You simply can't. And so you're going to nicely let them know, listen, I'm sorry, I understand, but respectfully, there are, statutes and limitations on the Department of Financial Services mediations. I'm happy to work with you. Let's see what the other party says, but I'm simply not going to be able to put off a mediation that was supposed to take place by July 11th until September. Now, with that said, August, September, it's 2 months later. Have I had mediations where that's happened? Yes, I have. There are fewer, but it's case by case. And imagine there could be some good cause. Maybe there was some kind of medical issue. Somebody got sick, and then the parties agreed to push it out a little further. So it can happen, but typically I'm going to start off with, I'm sorry, I can't do that. But then I would also tell you it's case by case, right? Follow your gut, your instinct, be flexible, try and help everybody. But, once you've done it 3 times and it's well past that date, I'm just going to schedule it. But it's case by case. The carrier said this party already had mediation in April, and it was an impasse, so they are not entitled to another mediation. I forwarded her mediation to DFS, but haven't heard back. What do you recommend? Okay. So it is tough getting DFS on the phone. It's been that way for a bit. Keep on trying. Yes, call them before noon, as I understand it. Put your notes in the mediation manager. Yes. However, that's an interesting scenario. The party already had mediation in April, and it was an impasse, so they're not entitled to have another. So if, however, the individual who's requesting the mediation is the insurance carrier, is the insured rather, what if the insurance carrier did agree to mediate? Well, then you could, but if the insurance carrier is not agreeing and they're saying we've already mediated, I would follow that lead until I hear otherwise from DFS. I would also tell the insured and their attorney what the insurance carrier is saying. By the way, when I am emailing all of the parties, I'm going to try and be transparent. Everybody is copied on all of the emails, scheduling emails. And in there, I'm also going to say, listen, if someone needs to speak privately with me, please indicate that. I'm happy to speak to you privately, or you can call me. You can talk to individuals beforehand. But keep everyone copied and ask everyone to reply all. Keep everyone informed so that it's transparent, so that you don't have 3 or 4 different email threads going on at one time. Try and keep them all on one thread. And then I would tell you, ask the other side, say, hey, this is what they're saying. What are your thoughts? And I would tell you it's case by case. This does not happen a lot. This one scenario that you're pointing out. And the other good thing is, well, this is how you learn when something like this happens. You're like, wow, that's weird. What do I do? Ask other mediators. Go to the ADR Expo, to our social media page, ask us a question, give me a call, come to my mediators roundtable. But right, unique things will happen. What is it that we can do? We just keep on doing your best. This is how you learn, right? Can you share your notice of mediation that has a lot of information on it so I can see what I should include in mine? So for everyone who attended, I absolutely did include my notice of mediation. If you are interested in getting my notice of mediation for the Department of Financial Services Mediations, send me a chat, send me a request, send me an email. You can send me an email at cfmediationcenter@gmail.com. cfmediationcenter@gmail.com. I hope that was helpful. I know it was a bit, but those were some good questions. And there's plenty of others out there. The point of the matter is you're a superhero. Keep on doing a great job. You're helping out tons of folks. And the things that we don't know very good today, how do we become better mediators? By mediating. You're going to learn them by mediating. We learn from our mistakes and from the advice, the great advice that we get from others. Okay. So keep on doing a great job. Make a difference in the world, one mediation at a time, and hopefully in turn the world. And I will see you all soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.